My next guest has got a big fight coming up here. UFC Fight Night, November 19th, taking Rodolfo Vieira. It is Cody Brundage back here on the program. Cody, how are you?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thank you for joining me. For those who don't know, you are in Vegas right now, cornering Dustin Jacoby and Josh Frem. How's fight week going? And how is it when you don't have a fight? Because you can kind of enjoy yourself a little bit, even though this fight's right around the corner.
Yeah, it's good, man. It's always good vibes with DJ. It's my first time cornering Josh, but we train together. We have a really good relationship. It's always good, and I feel like it's like a good practice run for me because I get to make the walk. I get to do everything except for take damage. So, kind of, you're dealing with different nerves, but still dealing with some of the nerves. So it's a good practice run for sure.
And it looked like you got plenty of time for this fight. When did you find out?
I found out, I want to say late August, mid-August. So I had a full camp, 12 weeks. And then I was in the gym before that anyway, too. So I was just waiting on a name. And yeah, I had plenty of time to prepare.
Did the timing line up? Like, was this kind of when you were looking to fight?
Yeah, I wanted to be close to Dustin. I feel like, the last couple of times we've been back to back, whether I go first or he goes first. But it's good to be in camp. This was even better because I was in camp with Josh, Dustin, and then Rob Wilkinson's fighting in the PFL championship the week after me. So all the big guys at Factory X were kind of clicking, and it's good to have those guys push you when you're all have fights coming up.
And a good opponent here in Vieira, like I mentioned, 8-2 record, kind of similar to yours. How do you feel like you match up against him?
I like the matchup. I think he's obviously very talented, and he's a multiple-time world champion in jiu-jitsu, and you don't get to be a world champ without doing the right things and being special. So I like the matchup, man. I feel like the tougher the opponent I have, the more I shine and the more I rise to the occasion. So, we're headed in the right direction too. You don't ever want to step down in competition. So I feel like I'm going in the right way.
Do you work more on BJJ for this camp, or you still just, work on everything? It doesn't matter who the opponent is.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, there's some spots that we focus on a little bit, but it's mostly just working on everything and just trying to be a better fighter. I feel like I'm at the point where as long as I'm continuing to grow and be a better version of myself, that I'm going to be tough to beat. So there's definitely things that he brings to the table that we've addressed and kind of just gone over, but nothing too specific. Nothing like, okay, well, we have to drill this every day leading up to the fight. It's just kind of getting better all around, and as long as I continue to do that, I like my chances.
We mentioned Josh Frem, we mentioned Dustin Jacoby. Who else are you getting to work with over there at Factory X that are helping you get ready for this fight as far as bodies in the gym?
Yeah, those two guys for sure. Dustin's like my main training partner, but Rob Wilkinson as well. He's fighting the week after me. Like I said, in the PFL championship, he's huge. He's super well-rounded, powerful guy. So he's good to work with as well. And then we have some younger guys, like Harris Talunzik. He's an up-and-comer, 6-1, main event at LFA a few times. You'll see him on Contender Series in the UFC soon. And those are pretty much the main guys. Austin Jones, he's another guy. He's got over 20 pro fights. He's a stable at Factory X. So, yeah, I got a good group of big guys. And like I said, we were all in camp together. So it was a hard push, pretty competitive all the time.
How tough is it eating during fight week? I guess, the Vegas has the PI and everything, so I'm sure you can kind of mooch some meals off there. But how is it when you're traveling and trying to, cut the weight and all that, right?
Yeah, so I don't cut too much weight. I think I've talked to you before. Like maybe I could make 170. I choose not to. I've actually got a little bigger for this fight. I've added some strength and conditioning. I'm walking around like 210 now, whereas before I was like 201. So I've gained some weight, which is where I want to be. And I eat good, but I'm not really. It's not a crazy diet. It's not crazy strict. Really, I'm just trying to make sure I get enough calories because of how much I'm training. So, my weight cuts aren't bad. I'm water loaded. It's not too hard for me. Dustin and Josh make fun of me because they're like, I can't believe you're going to eat that 3 weeks before your fight. I'm like, well, I am. So, I don't have to diet too hard. And, yeah, so it's not bad on traveling or anything like that.
Yeah, I always bring that up because, I think when you are traveling, it's impossible to eat good, for the most part, because there's so much bad stuff. Like you go to the airport, there's nothing, you can't really eat anything, right?
Yeah, it's all especially now too. Like when we were at the Residence Inn, we had our own kitchen, in our little hotel room. But now we're back kind of in the free world, so we're just in hotel rooms, and there's not even fridges here, so it's not like you're, you can prepare your own meals. So you're right. Yeah, it's not easy. It's like when anyone else goes on the road for a vacation, you're like, okay, well, I'll do the best I can and make it work.
Yeah, that's the key to Vegas, by the way, if anyone's watching this. If you do want to eat like relatively healthy, or you don't want to spend as much money on food, it's find a hotel or suite that has a kitchen and a fridge. Cause you're right, like none of the hotels have fridges, so you can't really like make anything ahead of time. But at least you go to the grocery store, you can make some good food, right? You're not eating all the stuff on the strip, which is delicious, don't get me wrong. But I know if you're trying to eat well, it's also kind of difficult, right? So
Yeah, and save money. It's so expensive out here. Everything is
yeah.
crazy, crazy money. So yeah, we got some tricks to get like a mini fridge up here. You got to tell them like, hey, I got medicine I got to put in the fridge, and then they got to give you a fridge.
I've heard that too.
Yeah, so we got some small tricks that we use, but yeah, it's definitely better if you can get a kitchen.
Yeah, that makes sense, man. Your corner, Mark Montoya, who else will be in the cage with you? Is any of the Josh or Dustin going to return the favor for your fight?
Oh yeah, Dustin's coming with me, and then Colin Anglin. Keeping the same three. I just feel really good with those guys. It's like I said, always good vibes, and me and Dustin got a good streak going, so I just want to keep it going.
For sure. How's this fight playing out on November 19th?
I think it's gonna be a good fight, man. I feel like if you look at the styles on paper, like I'm a strong wrestler. He's a really strong jiu-jitsu guy, obviously, and a lot of the times that leads to a stand-up fight. And I think his stand-up is really undervalued. I think people don't really give him the respect he deserves. I mean, the guy beat Chris Curtis on the feet in that first round, and yeah, I think he's really talented. So I think it'll be a super competitive fight. I do think I find a way to get him out of there. I feel like I'm a finisher. I finished 7 of my 8 fights as a pro in different ways. I think I have 4 knockouts and 3 submissions, so I can get it done in a lot of ways. And he's shown that, if you can put the pedal to the floor a little bit, you can maybe find a submission, even though he is so good at jiu-jitsu. And yeah, I think I find a way to get him out. I don't know if that's gonna be knockout, submission, or what, but I do think I find a way to finish. Like maybe not in the first round. Maybe we got to draw this one out a little bit longer in second or third. But I do think I find a finish. But I think it's gonna be a great fight. I really do. I think this is really good matchmaking, style wise, and where we're at in our careers. And I think it could be a really big launch pad for either one of us to kind of make some noise in the division.
After this fight, I imagine, enjoy the holidays and then, kind of look at next year. Again, I know the focus is on November 19th, but is that kind of the game plan right now?
Yeah, for sure. I wanted 3 fights this year. I wanted to win 3 fights. I wanted to get a bonus. So I just got to go cash this last one in, and then I'll have met my goals for 2022. And then next year, I want to get in the top 15. So I think if I can fight 3 times a year, and win and be successful, then that's a good year for me, financially and just moving my career forward. And I got a new contract for this fight. So, that's exciting. Yeah, it's exciting. And I don't know, it kind of makes you feel like you belong a little bit more, because I feel like it's like the NFL or any other major sports league. The turnover is huge. So when you can get to that next contract, it's like, okay, I'm here. I have a little more stability. So yeah, 3 times this year will be good for me. And it's perfect right before the holidays. And, my family lives in another state. Bobby's family lives in another state. So we'll be traveling to go see them. So it'll be good to have a little bit of time off.
Yeah, no. And I've had to do the traveling thing during the holidays. Luckily, this year is my year, so we're getting to stay here with my family. My wife's family lives back east, so it's never fun to travel during the holidays. But before we hopped on here, actually, you and I have a mutual friend, Matt Friendo. I know he posted something on Facebook. I think it was today or yesterday about how you just made your professional debut. What was it, 3 years ago? How long ago was it, man? Like, have you been able to kind of reflect on the journey you've had to being a mainstay in the UFC now in your second contract to having that first pro fight?
Yeah, so that was my first pro title fight. I was 3-0, and he gave me a chance. He has a legit promotion. Lights Out is a big promotion. Not many 3-0 guys are getting a chance to fight for a title. And yeah, that was 3 years ago. And I made my pro debut, I was telling somebody, April 2019. So like 3.5 years ago. So I haven't been.
It's crazy, man. If you think about it, that's not the usual trajectory for a lot of fighters. Like you've done really well, man, in such a short period of time.
Yeah, and I feel like I forget that sometimes, man. And being here with Dustin is always eye-opening for me, because, we were talking this week. He made his first UFC debut was October 29th, 2011.
Yeah.
And he's come full
against
circle.
Chris Camozzi, who would end up training with you guys later, right?
Yeah. And then 11 years later, he's back in the UFC. He got cut. He had this whole journey. And yeah, I feel very fortunate, man. I feel like I've had it easier than most. And I mean, a lot of that is hard work and dedication, but I've had it a lot easier than most to get to the UFC and have success. And I feel super blessed to be able to be on the run I'm on and just be where I'm at in life, man. Life's good. So yeah, it is cool. But I saw that memory too. I was like, dang, man, I really haven't been doing this that long, So
yeah. That's awesome. Well, hey, congrats on the new contract. We're looking forward to the fight November 19th, UFC Fight Night. If there's anyone you want to thank before we get out of here, I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, I just want to thank Factory X. They're huge. My gym there, getting to be a part of that culture and a part of that team it's awesome, man. I feel like getting to rep them is something I'm very proud of, and they give me so much, man. I always want to say, like, I'm so spoiled. They give me so much time and energy, and I'm very lucky. And then obviously I want to thank Iridium, best managers in the game. You always see Iridium guys popping in the UFC because they got the best guys and they got the best deals. So definitely want to shout them out. And then my wife, because, I couldn't do nothing without her. So, but I
Cool.
appreciate you for having me on, man. Always good talking to you.